Hey all, just a short video, cross my fingers, today about learning songs when you don't read music. Don, if you're watching, this one's for you. This is a common thing with drummers, right? Like, the number of drummers who don't read music is more than zero, and a lot more than zero. And lots of famous drummers are kind of well known for not being able to read music. And that's fine. You can make great music without reading notation, right? Notation came after the fact. Music is about the sound. And what's written on the page is important, kinda, but it's only a means to an end to get you what you want. So I had a friend the other day say, "Hey, Penny, I'm in this band and I need to learn a bunch of songs and I don't read music, and it's getting a little harder for me to remember all this stuff. What do I do?" And so the real answer is there's two approaches, right? One, you can just beat yourself over the head until you memorize all this music. Or you can figure out some sort of something written down to help you remember. It doesn't have to be music notation. I am going to suggest that taking a few hours to learn basic notation will actually serve you so well in the long run, whether you're 5 years old or 95 years old. It really doesn't take too long to get the basics of notation. And for the vast majority of songs, the basics are really all you're going to need, right? Especially if you're trying to do perfectly faithful covers of songs, like a tribute band or something, then you'll probably need more than the basics for like fills and stuff, right? But if you're just trying to cover a song, or you're making your own drum part for the song and you just need to remember the form of the song, really basic notation will get you there. There's also a few other strategies that we can employ. I'm going to try and tell you every one I can think of, including tabulature and the Nashville number system, and leading up all the way to some simple notation. We're going to use a song as an example, a tune by Gregg Bissonette called Submarine. And the reason I want to use this song is because Gregg was nice enough to provide a drumless version online, which there'll be a link down below, so you can hear the tune and the tune without drums, so you can play along with. And just in case you want to try to work out notation, there is also a chart, right? So, but let's start with just the basic concept. So, what do we need to get us to learn songs? What do we need to know? I'm going to start with something even more simple, right? Let's start with "We Will Rock You." Let's pretend that you had never heard "We Will Rock You" before, okay? And that was going to be on your set list. Well, sorry, pencil more than eraser. There you go. There's "We Will Rock You," right? If I saw that on a list, I would have no problem remembering, oh, this is the song that goes boom, boom, bap. The other thing to do is you want to give yourself little tricks to remember the song. So let's say you were going to play, this is a lot to ask if you don't read music, but you could totally memorize this tune. Let's say you were going to do Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, right? And you knew the song pretty well, but when you saw the title, you didn't really remember what it was. If you just wrote down something like, opera, right? That's going to trigger your memory. And so when there's a little something that reminds you of the song, you know. So I've talked about this a few times. I came to reading music later than learning to play, right? My drum corps instructors taught us stuff by rote. We would have like a 2-hour practice every week, and they would teach us, depending on the complexity, anywhere from like probably 4 to like 32 measures of music in that 2-hour rehearsal. And we had to remember it to come back next week. And we would say, there was one I remember, one part was take it from the rouge to gouge, right? And so we had a very drum talk kind of way of communicating, and they would sing us parts and we would play them, right? So there are all these little ways that you don't need specific notation, right? I love, one of the ways I'll teach my students is I'll sing, boom, bap, doom, tap, boom, doom, bap, doom, bap, doom, bap, doom, bap, doom, bap, doom, bap. Well, I mean, so if it's, right? Doom, bap, doom, bap, doom, right? It can be anything you need it to be, right? To get you to remember how the tune starts. My experience is that once you're into the tune, 4 bars, you're going to kind of remember the rest of the tune, right? Assuming you know it well, right? I mean, of course, the other side, the flip side to this, and the side that I employ a lot, is just get better at improvising, right? And listen, and then you never have to remember anything if you're improvising, right? So if you're just reacting to the music in the moment, listening, I don't want to say becomes pointless, but it's much, if you're listening, memory becomes way less important, right? I think I got lost in my listenings and memories there. But so if you're listening and reacting, your memory can kind of relax a little bit. But let's say you really want some sort of strategy to remember the beat to a song. Okay, so the first strategy we're going to talk about is tabulature. There's going to be 3, and then I am going to push notation one more time. And then we're going to listen to that tune, and we'll try and sketch it out and see what happens, right? Okay, so tabulature basically happened because of the internet and people wanting to share drum parts online, but music notation software being very expensive back in the day and not all that great and not terribly accessible, right? So, kids and other people wanted to share drum parts, but they just didn't have any other means, so they used text. And so what you'll do is, let's do something real simple. Let's say we've got, just hi-hat, right, snare, and bass. And let's just do an 1/8 note groove so you can see the idea. Okay, so this works best if you use, I forget the word for it, but a font that all of the letters take up the same amount of space. And I'll show you why. So what we're going to do is the hi-hat is going to play on all 8 notes. These are not X note heads. These are the letter X, okay? This is to demonstrate that on all 8 of those possibilities, the hi-hat is playing, okay? So now the snare drum is going to play on 2 and 4. I'm assuming you know how to count, right? Like, counting is a sort of different skill than reading, and so I'm going to assume that you know how to count. And I mean count music, not count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the snare is going to play on 2 and 4, all right? So 1 and 2. Hey, that's another X, right? Well, because in tabulature, pretty much you're either delineating not playing, which is a dash, or playing, which is an X, okay? And so that was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Now the bass drum is going to play on 1 and 3, our famous old beat, right? You've been used a million times. You'll use it all the time. 1 and 2 and 3. Ooh, that's what erasers are for. 3 and 4 and, right? And there you go. So that's how tabulature works. And it's not the greatest thing if you're trying to read something quickly, but if you're trying to remember something, it can be like the spark that gets you back in the tune, right? So this is one way, and then the Nashville number system. I'm actually going to give you a slightly different version because I'm assuming if you don't read music, the chord structures are also kind of something that is a little, as a drummer speaking, right, is something you don't necessarily completely want to deal with. So let's talk about sections, right? And so the Nashville number system will tell you, hey, this chord goes this many bars, this chord goes this many bars. But let's be even more simple than that. So let's say you've remembered the groove, right? We're doing, I don't know. Let's pick a tune. Okay, so another brick in the wall, right? And so we've got that boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, bap, psoom, right? So a open swish with the hi-hat, every other measure, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, tsoom, okay? So how are we going to remember that? Well, maybe I'll say something real simple, like simple beat, hi-hat, every other. Okay, so that's going to get me, because I already know it's another brick in the wall, right? Right. So this is another brick in the wall, simple hi-hat, every other measure, right? Now what I'm going to do is say, okay, so the verse is 16 bars, right? And then the chorus is, I'm making this up. Please don't fact check me on this. I don't have this song that well memorized. Plus, I think the drum beat pretty much is basically the same with a couple fills. So let's say the chorus is 8 bars. And then there's a verse, 16 bars. Let's say there's a bridge, 4 bars. Then a chorus, 16 bars. And out, okay? So this is a really simple roadmap of the song, and all you need to do to know how to do this is to count. That's it. All you need to be able to do is count bars, and then you'll know where you are. There's a certain amount of memorization in any song that you're going to play, right? Okay, so that's like the sort of simplified version of the Nashville number system. Last, before we listen to the tune, and when we listen to the tune, I'll try and think of everything I can to, because I think I've gotten most of them out, but if I miss one, I bet listening to the tune will help me remember. So what's the last one? Well, take some time and learn notation. Literally, it'll take like 2 hours for you to learn simple notation, okay? There's 3 notes that you have to learn, and you already know how to play them, right? And then you don't even need fancy staff paper. Usually with my students, I'm just using notebook paper. I make them bring a notebook and I write in their notebook. I don't make them get a manuscript book, because if I want them to learn like a chart, I'll give them a chart. But if I just want to write out a drum beat for them, I'm going to, all right, so again, we got hi-hat, snare, kick. Okay, so here's the 3 notes. I've got a quarter note, which is 1 beat, an 8th note, which either looks like that, or if they're together, like that, which is a half a beat, which means it's twice as fast, right? Or a a 16th note, which can look like groups of 4. And you can have groups of 2 16th notes too, but this is a nice way to think about it because this is all one beat worth of music, right? So this is one beat, this is one beat, and this is one beat. Okay, so these all take up the same amount of time. So there you go. Pretty much that was your music theory lesson that you need to be able to follow like a simple drum beat written down. And of course, I'm not going to think of a tune off the top of my head again. Oh, goodness. Oh, sure. So I'm working on Walk This Way with one of my students. Okay, so Walk This Way, 8th notes on the hi-hat. 8th notes on the hi-hat is a good assumption for like almost everything, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 8 8th notes on the hi-hat. Piece of cake, right? You're totally with me so far. This is super easy. Everybody can do this. And I promise if you take the 10 minutes to do this now, the amount of time it will save you in the long run is crazy. I get it. It can seem like, I don't read music. I don't want to read music. I promise if you take the little bit of time, you'll be shocked. It'll help so much. You'll absorb tunes more easily. You'll understand tunes more too. But you'll be able to play tunes that you've never even heard. You can just open a book and like play stuff, right? And that's a really powerful feeling. Okay, so back to Walk This Way. Like most rock tunes, it is snare on 2 and 4. Bop, da-doom, doom, bop. Bop, da-doom, doom, bop. Okay, whoa, so there's a lot going on in that bass drum part. So I've got 1, 2, da-doom, doom, bop. Boom, bap, 1, 2, a 3, and 4. Okay, so the 3 and is easy, right? All I have to do is line up notes under the 3 and, right? And then that other note is right in the middle there. And if that's in the middle, well, it's got to be a 16th note, right? So, oh, that's too high. You guys can't see. So let me go down here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Piece of cake, right? Oh, wait a minute. There's something else. So sometimes you will have to learn like a little extra thing. So there's that open hi-hat at the beginning of Walk This Way, right? Like pss, bop, da-doom, doom, bop. There you go, open hi-hat. Sometimes people will write in the plus sign, which means that's where you close the hi-hat. I just had this discussion with a student the other day. A lot of times people assume that you know, hey, the hi-hat closes on the next note, sorry, right? So sometimes that'll be there. Just as often it won't be, right? So you'll be on your own figuring out when it closes. But there you go, right? Like Walk This Way is a great example because this tune happens a few times. There's 1 or 2 other grooves that happen a few times, but there's like 3 or 4 grooves, right? And so then it's just a matter of, okay, I can see that, I look at it, I remember it, how many times does it go? And that's when you start saying, okay, that groove times 16, right? Like that kind of thing. And then you don't even need the full like chart, right? You can just look at the beat and say, oh yeah, that's how that goes. All right, I'll stop preaching. Not everybody wants to learn how to music and I'm to read music and I'm not a priest. So that's cool. All right, so let's put on this Gregg Bissonette tune. And I was going to play the drumless version for you as part of this, but I don't think that's going to help us too much at all. That feels like work you can do on your own. So let's listen to it. We might listen to it a couple times. I'm going to talk over it and I'm going to make notes as the tune is going by. Okay, so let's check this out. Where is the tune? Oh, that's right. It's up there. Oh, this is some good radio, huh, folks? Yep, there it is. And there we go. So we're in 4. I lied. We're in 3, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So we're in 3, 2, 3. Hey, this is the part it started with, right? So we've got that China stack kind of sound. So starts with stack. Even that might just be enough to trigger your memory of how the song goes. Oh, this is new, right? This is really Beatles-like, right? Gregg Bissonette plays with Ringo, so that makes sense. Right? So I might write Beatles section. Okay, and we're back to the stack. And now, I think I would call this clearly is the verse, right? With that cool little open hi-hat thing. And there's 2 big hits before the chorus, right? This is really how I would take notes on a tune, too. If I wanted to transcribe something, I will do something like this. I will write out some notes. Oh, hey, what just happened? Oh my goodness, there's a drum solo. That's another reason I wanted to give this one to y'all, so you might have something to have a little fun with. And this, I mean, kind of who cares what you play? It's a drum solo, right? So we got drum solo. And then right into the chorus, out of the drum solo. Right? Okay, so here's the guitar solo, and it just does this, spoiler, it just does this as an outro fade. Okay, so this is the end of the tune pretty much. So guitar solo out. Great. So like I say, this is I didn't do this perfectly. There was a couple changes at the beginning I missed. Right, since we're going to I think we'll listen to it one more time, and I could write out the beat for you, but the main premise of this is like, so how do I remember a tune if I don't read music, right? And so we're going to approach it, we're going to try and do a map with no music reading. We're going to try and jog our memory, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's do some notes about the song. And those will be helpful to kind of, when you're trying to count the song off, right? Hopefully before you hit 1, 2, 3, one, right, before you've hit that one, you remember what song you're playing. You won't always. Sometimes you'll start playing and then you go, oh yeah, that's right, this one, right? That happens. And as long as you remember quick enough to cover yourself, no one else will know. It's the perfect crime, right? So you want to have something to jog your memory. This one's great because it's in 3/4, right? It's very Beatles-like, right? I can spell, really I can. Beatles-like, and it's got that like heavy section with, let's call it the heavy stack section. But now it's going to get simpler, right? Because that heavy stack section, I'm going to call that interlude, right? Because that's kind of an instrumental interlude kind of thing. That's the part that plays under the drum solo. It's the part that plays under the guitar solo, right? So that's going to be our interlude. And then we've got verse, and the chorus is that Beatles thing. And all we're going to do, so it starts with the interlude, right? All we're going to do is just count how many bars each section happens, okay? And you can do this in one of Gregg's videos. I always get the title wrong. I think it's called Reading, Soloing, and Playing with a Band, Playing, Soloing, and Reading with a Band. It's on the DVD like yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'll include a link to that down below as well. I can't recommend Gregg's educational stuff highly enough. He is such a sweet guy, such a great player, and such a great teacher. So check out his stuff. Like I said, so the play along track and the original for Submarine will be down below. That DVD, a link to that will be down below. And one more thing, which we'll talk about at the very end, a link to will also be down below. So we're just going to count each section, right? And this is sort of the I can't read music part 2, right? Like, so if you can just remember, right, if you can write like a little description and it jogs your memory and you're like, oh, that's right, this song, right? Great. But if it's a song where the form is a little weird and that's not working, that's not good enough, then this can be really helpful. Okay, this is somewhere like the Nashville number system. It's designed to be, simple and quick and easy, but not really, you don't really need to be reading music to do this system. Okay, so let's listen to the tune again. And let's count it out. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3. 3, 2, 4, 2, 3. 5, 2, 3. 2, 3. 7, 2, 3. 8, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. So interlude was 4, no drums, and then 4 with drums. Okay, so obviously that means the drums enter on bar 5. Here is the verse. 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3. Back to the interlude, right? Okay, so 8, interlude. Let me back up, make sure we're... Okay. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Verse. 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 4, I just noticed that. Let's check that out for a second. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, so right before the chorus, he throws in an extra beat. Okay, so we did 8 bars, right? But then the extra beat for chorus. Okay? I don't need to read music. All I need to know how to do is count. And I just told myself that before the chorus, I need an extra beat. So I've been counting 3, but he does that big submarine, right? Is that the line? Whatever. He does an extended vocal thing there, and it takes an extra beat. Cool. Who cares? You don't need to read music to do that. Reading music is helpful. Reading music is one way to get there, but you don't need to. That will help you remember, right? Okay, so now we're into the chorus, our first chorus. Let's see how long the chorus is. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3. And of course, the chorus is in 4. Right? So now we're counting in 4 instead of 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay. So 8, and I'm going to write it again, in 4, 4, right? And then we're back to the interlude. Okay, but see how quick we're running through this? So this is a tune, I know this tune, but I've never played it, I've never learned it. Gregg Bissonette is one of my favorites, so I've had the album since it came out, like 10 or 11 years ago. So I know the tune, but I'm learning, oh, hey, it's in 3/4. Oh, hey, the chorus is in 4/4. Because I've never listened to it like that before, right? It just hasn't been one of the tunes that I've examined like that. But never having done that, we're plowing our way through. We're already 25% of the way through the tune. And the rest of once you get the first little bit, the rest goes much quicker, right? Because it's music and there's a lot of repetition in music, right? So let us press on. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 2, 3, 4. You were paying attention. I lost count. That was 8 bars. And so now, drum solo. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is if you were to play this live, this might be done on a look or something, but let's count the bars so we have an accurate count. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 9, 2, 3, 10, 2, 3, 11, 3, 12, 2, 3, 13, 2, 3, 14, 2, 3, 15, 2, 3, 16, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 16 bar drum solo and extra beat at the end, because we're going into, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to go up over here just so y'all can see. So this is here. So we're back to the chorus. I bet it's going to be 8 bars, I bet, because that's how this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'll let you listen to the rest. So that was a double chorus. And so it is 8, but it's 8 twice, right? So it's 16 bars. And now we've got the guitar solo. And that's just repeat and fade. Okay. So, and let's just listen to that just to double check. I'm not even counting. Why do I need to count? All I'm doing is playing. The tune is over pretty much. I'm just jamming. The guitar player's jamming. We're all jamming, right? There's no counting left. Why would I count? Okay, so it didn't fade, so there's an end. So let's count the guitar solo just for me to feel better. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 9, 2, 3, 10, 2, 3, 11, 2, 3, 12, 2, 3, 13, 2, 3, 14, 2, 3, 15, 2, 3, 16, 2, 3, 17, 2, 3, 18, 2, 3, 19, 2, 3, 20, 2, 3, 21, 2, 3, 22, 2, 3, 23, 2, 3, 24, 2, 3. So 24 bars. All right. Okay. So this is a mess, right? And I work in pencil, and the nice thing about computer pencils is they have the same thing, which, right, I can erase, right? So I would clean this up, obviously, but this to me is like a reasonable roadmap of the tune. And if you're feeling like, oh, I don't read music and blah, 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 you can feel overwhelmed, right? You can feel like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to think about doing anything to help myself remember this 100 tunes, which, you know, if you have to learn 100 tunes, that's a lot of tunes. Oh, the other thing I didn't even talk about, I don't want to be, let's say I was going to join a band and they were like, hey, you got to learn 100 tunes. Here's the book, right? With all the tunes. Dear God, I hope they're not going to give me 100 drum charts, right? I want like 100 lead sheets or 100, national number system charts. The last thing I want is like every note that I'm going to play notated, which is part of the reason I don't do like Broadway kind of gigs, because Oh man, I played every note the way people wanted when I was a kid. Like, and I'm still dealing with the trauma of that. So yeah, right. Like any type of rock, pop, country kind of stuff, a drummer is kind of expected to be improvising constantly, right? Like it's your job to make the music feel good. And that requires a lot of flexibility on your part, right? To be able to, pull the energy back if it needs it, or push it if it needs that, or whatever, right? And so drummers aren't going to get, here's the exact notes you should play, right? My favorite thing to get is a thing called a lead sheet, which is a jazz thing, but I like it in every style. It just helps me see what's going on. So it's basically a sheet that has the melody notes written in, and then the chord changes written in on top of those. And that way I can see, you know, like any chart you get is going to get, if the band does hits, like what's that tune by the Goo Goo Dolls, Iris, right? Like da 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 dun da 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 dun jun jun. The whole band does those hits, right? If you're playing a tune like that, that's going to be notated somewhere if someone gives you any type of music at all, right? Um, but I want more than that. I also want to see the melody and see what's going on, because I want to be able to react to, high points and low points in the melody. Anyway, I wanted to show you one more thing. I also did want to, so another thing I wanted to tell you about is on Gregg Bissonette's other DVD, or Blu-ray even, called, what's it called, Penny? I even found it. There it is, Musical Drumming in Different Styles. And I'll include a link to that down below. He talks about this tune. He teaches this tune, and he does a little play along, or not a play along, a demonstration of this tune. And I'm going to show you a little clip of that right here. So I'm already going to get copyright claimed for showing you the tune at all. So here's just a little clip of Gregg's video, which I think is actually not available as a, you know what? While I'm talking to you, I'm gonna type. You can hear me, because I can't believe that it's not available as like a download. Let's see. Hudson Music, Gregg Bissonette. No, that's his bio. That's no good. Read more. Huh. Maybe it's not available as a download. That's, wow. Haven't they heard this is the 21st century? Okay, but it's like $10 for the DVD, and it's a double, and each DVD is like 4 hours, right? So it's like 8 hours of lessons for $10 at Amazon. So that link will be down below. Here's a little sample just to whet your appetite. Right? Killing. So Gregg is such a fun player. I love watching him play. So yeah, get that if you're at all interested, right, in checking that out. I'll include a link to the original track and the play along track and the chart, wink, wink, just in case you want to try to learn how to read music. It's like I say, I don't want to nudge too hard, because lots of people have had full and illustrious careers not reading music. At the same time, I've seen enough people who learn to read music later and I've seen how much it's helped their process, right? And it really doesn't take that long to learn the basics, right? No one is asking you to learn how to read a Rachmaninoff piano score, right? So just something to think about. And then, if you have 100 tunes, right, you do what we did for Submarine 100 times, and you gradually, the more you do it, you need to write something down, right? If what you're telling me is, well, I don't want to write anything down, then the cold hard truth is you just need to rely on your memory, period, right? So you need to write something down. And the more you do it, the more you'll figure out what works and what triggers your memory and what doesn't. I had a real hard time when I was doing the jazz trio with Steve Marchena. And Kevin Nelson. I had a real hard time remembering some standards, and Steve would play me the first note, and then that would be the trigger. And it almost became like a game at my expense, sort of. But it was just so hard for me to go through the filing cabinet in my head and be like, Stella by Starlight. And that's so stupid because Stella is like one of the most popular and famous and everybody plays it standards, but still it gets lost in the shuffle with, all of the more obscure ones, right? It's in that mass in my brain, and I needed a little catalyst to help me remember. So we can all need that, right? If I had been in a band with other people who weren't like my best friends, I probably would have done something to keep notes. And I would have gotten to the point of actually remembering the standards just by their names instead of relying on my guitar player's very sweetness. So like these videos are, this is always longer than I intended, but I really wanted to run through the process with you and show you, okay, how you can map out a tune, how you can notate that with English instead of music notes. And I also wanted to nudge a little bit about, you should learn how to read music. Shh, don't tell anybody. Promise, it'll take you 2 hours, and you'll have to practice a little bit. You'll be rusty, right? It won't be easy at first. But in a couple weeks, it'll make so much sense. Anyway, done preaching, maybe. All right, so I'm gonna go. I hope you all found this helpful. This is when my friend Dawn asked me this question, I was like, that's something a lot of people have trouble with. Is, hey, I drum and I drum okay and I drum pretty well and I play in bands and I don't read music and they want me to learn 100 tunes. What do I do? Right? And so you can memorize, you can sit and just listen to the tunes over and over again, or you can figure out some way to write stuff down. And now I have definitely started repeating myself, so I am really going to wrap this time. But yeah, I hope you found this helpful. I would appreciate a like, as always. Yep, comments are wonderful all the time, almost no matter what they say, even when they're hilariously rude. I have a Patreon at pennylarson.com/Patreon if you would like to throw me a couple bucks. I'm still working out the regular YouTube channel, so the Patreon is gradually becoming a thing. But every month there's at least one exclusive video over there. So there's a library of extra content you can get, including a video on I break out my 5 toms and I just tune my 5 toms from scratch. When I first got my first order of attack heads, I did all 5 toms in a row, and I talked about that tuning process and what I'm listening for and how it works for me. And I used my TuneBot to kind of document the pitches and everything. It was a fun video. So that's over on the Patreon if you wanna come over there and check that out. And otherwise, I am going to say goodbye, y'all. And yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for being on this journey with me. I've recently had a little bit of a renewed vigor in my excitement about drumming in general. The last year was a long year, and I feel pretty good to have gotten through it as good as I have. I know not that's not true for everyone, and so even though some people are like, "Oh, I wrote 10 books during quarantine," and it's like, "Good, awesome! I am super happy for you." I am still here, right? And I kept teaching the whole time, and I learned a bunch of new stuff. And yes, let's make 2021 way better than 2020. Oh, please. Anyway, bye, y'all. I will see you all again real soon. I love you so very much. Thanks for being here. Talk again soon. Bye.